Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to be doing another portfolio update. So we've hit a huge milestone pretty much, which is 150,000 Canadian. When I started making this video 2 months ago, right? This is the 2 months mark. I was at around 100,000 Canadian. And I had like some people in the comments hoping it would have been American USD 100,000. So there you guys go. If you just waited a little bit, it's already over 100,000 American as well. But as you know, in this channel, when I do these portfolio unveils, I'm specifically talking in Canadian because I purchased everything in Canadian and it's easier for me to track. So huge gains. Guys, keep in mind, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, by the way, if you're new, and hit that like button if you enjoy this kind of Pokemon investing talk. But if you're new to the channel, keep in mind this is a passive portfolio. I started tracking it when it was at 100,000 Canadian, and now it's almost 150,000 Canadian, and that's not adding anything new, right? I don't add new stuff here. I don't sell stuff here, at least not for like years to come. So I do have an active portfolio that I'm like adding to, and that'll mess up the percentage gains because you're constantly adding stuff. But purposely, I set this aside as a passive portfolio so we could see if you don't touch your Pokemon investments, if you just buy and hold them, what kind of gains can you expect to get in the long run, right? So this is kind of, although it's my real collection, my real investment, it's also an experiment to see how good the gains can be. So far in 2 months, we got about 50%, right? A little short of 50%. So annualized, that would be 300% return a year, if you can believe it. And I checked beating Bitcoin, which by the way in Canadians around the same price right now. It's at around 150,000. It beat the S&P 500, which is probably the biggest investment vehicle people use. Like it crushed the S&P 500 in these last 2 months. It beat the Nasdaq 100. It beat Tesla. It beat probably most of the things you can think of in the stock market. This diversified investment portfolio of sealed and singles that I'm going to show you guys right now. So yeah, that is the power of Pokemon investing. I'm not saying we will get a 300% return every year, obviously, but we're going to track it and we're going to see what happens. So far, it's done way better than I expected, right? I'm up 50% in 2 months, guys. I, I like this should be to any investor that wants to diversify their portfolio. I think you seriously missing out by not considering Pokemon. But let's jump into it. We're going to, as usual, make it interesting by going from cheapest stuff that's lowest in price to highest. And now finally in this video, I think it's the first video, everything's over $1 Canadian, finally. And just to be clear to you guys, I have some singles here that I just drew, right? Weren't investments. I just opened in packs and then I put here. But then I also have PSA slabs and like some singles that I purposely invested in. And then I have sealed product, which obviously I purposely invested in. So some stuff is going to be raw. Some stuff is going to be in PSA 10. So just keep that in mind when you see the prices. If it doesn't make sense, if it's too high, if it's too low, you're looking at a raw or PSA 10. Just collector in this view doesn't show whether it's a raw or PSA 10. So let's make our way through this. It's nice that we're finally starting at $1 plus. This Arcanine that I've been saying is undervalued has gone up percentage-wise a lot, but still only $2 in the grand scheme of things. I really like the Arcanine. I don't know if the Hisuian variant is going to be as popular as the original. Probably not, but I do like that art. And I like Legend Arceus a lot, so I like the cards that are made in that vein. Mabostiff, again, not a super popular Pokemon, but amazing artwork in my opinion. And I like that Scarlet and Violet, the cards are so good, the artwork's so good, that even non-popular Pokemon are holding some value here when it comes to illustration rares. Look at this. Sandile, almost $4. Palafin, $4. This is also cool. I love Caesar, right? You're gonna see I invested in Caesar PSA 10 from Obsidian Flames. I think that card's amazing, and it's gone up since I made that recommendation video about it. But like it's almost doubled actually. Crazy. It was such a short time ago. But this Caesar full art from Temporal Forces actually looks awesome. And you guys know I stick with illustration rares usually, but I drew this, and yeah, it's actually holding some decent value at over $4. Caesar's such a cool Pokemon, man. Even Tinkatink, like to me, Tinkatink is not interesting at all, but even a shiny Tinkatink that I drew from Paladin Fates is almost holding $5 value. Then we get to Toad's cool, a variant or a version copy, if you will, of a 151 Pokemon, right? We're going over $5. Larvitar, I was saying this is undervalued because not only is it an interesting artwork, also you got Larvitar who's related to Tyranitar, right? Tyranitar is a super popular chase card. So, yeah, I'm not surprised to see that going up. Lapras, of course, 151, popular Pokemon. And then we're not going to talk about every card, of course. Snorlax, right? That one's a fan favorite for sure. I can see this one growing more for sure. $6 seems cheap, especially when we look at how some of the other trainer galleries have popped off with yellow borders. I will never get this in Amorous. I don't know why Amorous is $7, but I guess people like an Amorous. This has been going up. Paldea Evolved Sleeve Booster Pack, right? Over $7 Canadian. Paldea Evolved, the booster box now is almost 300 Canadian, so it makes sense that the booster packs are going up as well. This is definitely up. The normal non-stamped promo of Snorlax is already over $7.50. Latias, because of Surging Sparks, I do think there's additional Latias and Latios hype, so it's not surprising that this has jumped up. Plus, Crown Zenith is doing great. Radiant Charizard, that's I actually drew that. So glad I drew that. I wanted it before I drew it, so I would have bought this if I didn't draw it. Right now, 850, holding some decent value. Pyroar, not a popular Pokemon, although I do think it's cool, and I hope it has potential to grow in popularity over the years. But right now, it's still holding great value. Those Paldea Evolved illustration rares are doing amazing. Toad's Cruel, right? Again, 151 inspired Pokemon. That's why I did buy that one. I invested in the raw, and it's pretty much doubled since I got it. Now even the cheapest. Oh man, this Grottle. Grottle is more popular than I expected, unless it's just that Meryl hyping it up more. But over $10, that's a significant price right there. So Mew EX metal card. That's the cheapest promo in the 151 UPC. And to see it over $11, and we're gonna see some Mew craziness as we go on here. Only the promos themselves in Canadian, I believe, are now worth over $60, which is crazy to think about. No surprise that the Trainer Gallery Eevee related cards are going up in Evolutions. So we have $12 just for the Eevee there. That's definitely up. And obviously we predicted that would happen. This Gyarados full arts usually don't command a significant price, but it's from Evolving Skies, so that definitely helps it out. And it's Gyarados. Gyarados is an awesome Pokemon. Just the normal Mew EX, $13. How crazy is that? Mew is popping off for sure. Charizard, right? This is one I invested in. Right, popular Pokemon. It was super cheap at the time, so it's gone up. Will continue to go up, I think, especially when we see the Sleeping Pikachu and how well that's doing, and the Vaporeon. So trainer galleries can do well. That's the crazy thing. I think a lot of people didn't know they could do this well, and now that they're getting older, scarcer, we're seeing them actually get to prices which I think a lot of people didn't expect, let alone expect to happen this quickly. Caterpie. Even I remember drawing this card when I was opening 151, and even I was excited about the Caterpie too. That's the cool thing about this generation. You can even have non-star Pokemon getting really good treatment and good artwork. And plus, Caterpie was one of Ash's first Pokemon, so I wouldn't sleep on this card right here. Arbok, right? No surprise there. Great card. I got that, I believe, for about half of what it's worth now. I got a PSA 10 too, but might not be in this portfolio. I think that's in the active one. So Flareon, $16. That's been growing. Some Lorcana there for the Lorcana fans. Wow. Mewtwo promo almost $20 Canadian. Dude. And you can see I got a lot of these. I even got more than 9, but I just opened up so many UPCs and I kept some sealed, of course. But that I have a bunch of these still in their frame of the 3, showing all 3. Then we got Vaporeon, almost 20. Sudowoodo, almost 20. Leafeon from Evolving Skies, almost 20. Ninetales, Zapdos. Yeah, so a lot of cards around that 20 mark. Golden Mew, all Mews doing well. Giovanni's Charisma. This is this is one that I think is has been undervalued and is still undervalued. I think over time, this is a beautiful artwork. Giovanni is it's not he's not a Pokemon, but you have Persian here as well. But Giovanni is one of those names where it's almost like a popular Pokemon. It tends to do well. It has a good history of the cards going up in value. Plus, we have the Team Rocket set coming this year. So I think this card is definitely one to stack up on, or at least buy one copy if you don't have any. I obviously have 4 there, so I have a decent position there. Love this Sleepy Charizard. Meowscarada, I I'm just shocked at how many good cards Paldea Evolved has. That's the main thing. I drew this one, but I was very glad because in the game I actually picked the Grass Cat Pokemon, and then I ended up with a Meowscarada in the end. So I was very happy. This was very specific for me, and I think all of these starters will do well in the long run. Plus, there's so many other fan favorite Pokemon in that set. Charizard VMAX, right? Again, I think Sleepy Charizard should be more expensive than the VMAX, but a lot of people like the VMAX. 28 Canadian here. Slowpoke going up, right? That's one of the patterns we see. $28 now Canadian for a Slowpoke. I remember when it was definitely less than half that. Evolving Skies, right? Doing well. Even individual booster packs. Don't have a lot there, but we'll have booster boxes and ETBs as we go forward. Psyduck, $30. Totally deserved. Amazing artwork. Iron Valiant bounced back after its dip pretty nicely. Here we have, dude, it went up even more. Wow. So we're looking at over $70 for the three promos. $45 for the Mew. Amazing. Amazing. Drowsy is also an amazing success story. Nobody would consider this an amazing Pokemon, a favorite Pokemon, but it is 151, and the artwork is so amazing that I had to get one before it popped off. And I didn't know it was gonna pop off like it did, but I got one, and yeah, it's been popping off. Like the percentage increase in this Drowsy is one of the best in the game right now. Charizard V-Star, right? Mewtwo and Charizard battling it out. It's a promo, but it deserves to be this high up. Like, it's such a sick card. Such a sick card. 151, right? Of course, that's a good investment. Been going up. Will definitely go up, especially after the Blooming Water stuff takes effect. I think I'm finally up on this Iono promo tournament collection box. For the longest time, I paid like $50 for it. I was down on it, or around even, and finally I'm up on it. So good to see the premium tournament collection box going up. I literally bought 2 because I know the Marnie one did really well, and so I thought it would be a similar story with this. It took a while, but it's finally on the uptrend. Charmeleon even holding decent value. I remember not being super excited about it when I kept drawing them, because you want to draw all the different ones, and like there are rarer ones and stuff. But I'm glad I drew so many because they're going for good value. Plus $58 Canadian, right? Plus it's part of the Charizard line, and obviously everybody wants to complete that line. Ghastly, right? Doing great. I've been calling out that card for a long time as being a card to look out for. I think it still has room to grow. Yes, it's a Ghastly 151 Pokemon. Amazing artwork, but it also has Haunter and Gengar in there. Gengar, super, super popular Pokemon. So that's one to watch out for. Bulbasaur, right? One of the original starters. No surprise there. Alakazam, still probably undervalued long term. I think Alakazam is gonna, again, maybe not, it's not gonna be the most expensive card in the set. I don't think that's ever gonna happen. But I think it's gonna be a lot more valuable than it is today. People are sleeping on the Alakazam for sure. Galarian Moltres, right? That's a PSA 10 right there. Trainer Galleries. One of the reasons I made this play was because the Galarian Moltres is so popular in Chilling Reign, right? That artwork is the second most expensive. And so there is a reason to think that if those most expensive cards pop off, people will look for other versions of that card in trainer galleries or whatever. And so that's why I think Galarian Moltres, this one, is more interesting to me than, let's say, the Galarian Zapdos trainer gallery or the Galarian Articuno trainer gallery. That's why I specifically focused on the Moltres. Normal Charizard, even like just full art, doing amazing. I think that's been the main takeaway for me sometimes, that full arts can actually do pretty solid. I didn't think it would be above so many illustration rares. Still prefer illustration rares, but something to notice. Crown Zenith, right? Been doing great. Booster bundles, these have more than doubled. Paldean Fates doing even better booster bundles. Again, this Crown Zenith right now is done with reprints, hopefully, right? They reprinted that so much. But Paldean Fates booster bundle could potentially still get reprints, but I think they have so much exciting stuff now. You never know what they're going to reprint, what they're not. There's a lot to print for Pokemon right now, and I don't think they have the capacity to reprint everything forever. I do think they have to pick and choose what they reprint. Umbreon V, right? This has been going up. I really like this Umbreon. Cool outline of the Pokemon. Charmander, no surprise there. Pikachu V, these two I drew. This has gone up like crazy, almost 80 Canadian. I did not think this would grow so quickly. Like I said, even I'm impressed by the potential of the trainer galleries, which weren't always viewed as able to reach super high prices. But now I can totally see this one hitting 100 Canadian. Wouldn't be a big move compared to the moves it's made so far. Venusaur celebrations, nothing crazy there, but just something to keep in mind. Usually when we get to a new anniversary date, so like we're approaching the 30th next year, the old stuff from the last anniversary special usually picks up in price. So that's something to watch out for. The Bulbasaur from Stellar Crown, right? Paid 50 for that and 50 for the Squirtle. Up 68% on the Bulbasaur and up 80% on the Squirtle. So really good returns on those. Like I said, I think Squirtle has the potential. Not even the potential. I think he will surpass Terapagos and become the main chase card of that Stellar Crown set. And I even made a recent video looking at PSA 10s in Scarlet and Violet, and you should check that out if you haven't, by the way, because there's some shocking ones there. And Squirtle in that video already passed Terapagos in PSA 10 price, so probably a sign of things to come. Zapdos, amazing card, $88. That will continue rising. Like long term, this card is one of my favorite in 151, which is saying a lot because there's a lot of good cards in 151. Regidrago, nothing crazy there, right? There are cards that haven't been skyrocketing yet, but the fact that there's a Lugia in there and one of the top cards in Silver Tempest, I think does suggest it could do well long term, relatively speaking, right? It's not a Charizard, but that's a PSA 10. This Shadow Rider Calyrex, I don't know if this will ever do great, but I love the Sleepy Hollow vibe to it. The artwork's amazing, and so I had to get a PSA 10 of that. Paldean Fates 10 Charizard, right? $92. Paldean Fates is killing it with the Bubble Mew. We'll get to that. 151 booster bundles are my most expensive. No surprise there. Lickitung, right? 151 Pokemon. Not the most popular, but this generation's amazing for making great cards of not super popular Pokemon. And I want to have, and I don't think I'm the only one, which is why I think it might be a good investment play. I want to have every 151 Pokemon illustration rare or special illustration or alt art for that matter. So I do think there will be people like me who specifically focus on the 151 Pokemon and look in different sets where they can find them and snipe them. And I think that will give a premium for all 151 Pokemon down the line. So we'll see if that comes true, but I definitely expect to see that. Obsidian Flames Elite Trainer Box, the normal one, 100 Canadian, amazing. Astral Radiance Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box, 100, right? This one sold out of the Pokemon Center recently, if you didn't know, so that explains that jump. But just the normal Obsidian Flames Elite Trainer Box, getting $100 Canadian, that's amazing. Paladin Fates, got this from Costco, two of them, $55, almost doubled already. And this was like so short, like maybe a month, like 2 months ago or something that I got it, 3 months tops, and how quickly you can make 100% return on some of these things. I will never stop saying it. Costco, when you used to be a great place to pick up Pokemon stuff. Now I can't find anything Pokemon. I think people just get it as soon as it comes out. But it was good while it lasted. Hopefully, the hype will die down. We'll get a market crash, and then we'll get the opportunity to pick up good deals again. Perrin impresses me. I think I was watching a YouTuber look at through the Twilight Masquerade set, and I think Perrin surpassed the Carmine, which I did not expect. Perrin I drew when I opened up a Twilight Masquerade booster box, and holy smokes. First of all, trainers don't usually hold their value well. They go down over time, or at least go down significantly in the short term, and then maybe increase down the line if you're lucky, like with the Miriam. But Parent has been holding solid value and now even going up compared to last time, which I don't expect for trainers. But I kept it. I didn't sell it, and glad I did. Over 100 Canadian now. Again, I'm surprised by some of this stuff. Pinsir, PSA 10, of course, 151 Pokemon, over 100 Canadian. Miraidon, PSA 10. I think this is just one of the best artworks in Scarlet and Violet base set, which has great artworks, right? We're talking Drowsy, we're talking the Guard of War. But yeah, I think that this card has a great future because of the artwork, because it's the legendary of the generation. And I do think Scarlet and Violet is one of the best selling, if not the best selling generation in terms of a lot of stuff. They started a new Pokemon series with someone else that's not Ash, right? So a lot of people will look at this as a sort of new beginning for Pokemon. So getting the legendary here and the more popular one with this amazing artwork, hard to go wrong with that in my opinion if you give it enough time. Umbreon VMAX, right? This one, no surprise there. I was telling you guys, when you look at the most popular cards of the era and you look at alternatives to them, this is an alternative to the Moonbreon. And yeah, it's picking up in price, so no surprise there. Unknown V, right? Some of us remember the Unknown. Not the most hype card, but one of the most popular cards in Silver Tempest. Blaziken V, PSA 10, right? I drew one that's not PSA 10 as well, but this is it in PSA 10. Yeah, one of the reasons I like this is the May, the trainer. I remember her from the anime, is in it. Plus, like I said, Blaziken is one of the chase cards of the Sword and Shield era. Horsey, right, 151 Pokemon. One of my favorites in Shrouded Fable. Obviously, I love the Persian more, but I got the Horsey too. Leafeon V, Raw. I think this one slept on. I really like this Leafeon art. It's beautiful. Twilight Masquerade, Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box. For reference, I buy these from the Pokemon Center at around 77 Canadian. So pretty much when you buy it, the market price is immediately more than you bought it for. So it's hard to go wrong on these. But when they sell out, obviously the price goes up even more. So yeah, we're not quite there, but we're approaching doubling the money on the Twilight Masquerade Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box. And that's one where the promo isn't a popular one. So the popular promos are the ones you got to watch out for. Chansey, PSA 10. Eevee, a raw Eevee is more than PSA 10 Chansey, which is not surprising. Eevee has always been a popular Pokemon. Remember, Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Those games, they picked Eevee out of all the Pokemon because they know how popular it is. And yeah, now we had Evolving Skies. Now we have Prismatic Evolutions, emphasizing the Eevee. And I love Pokemon because I feel like some franchises, like let's say Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm thinking, I think when the 25th anniversary booster boxes came out, the Blue Eyes booster box, that it negatively affected the booster box, the original booster box. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it didn't help out the original booster box. What I like about Pokemon is if they redo something, it usually helps the original other versions of that Pokemon, for example. So if a new Eevee card comes out that's hype, it actually gives a boost to old Eevee cards, which I don't think every market works like that, and I really like that about Pokemon. Crown Zenith League Trainer Box. I got this along with 2 tins at Costco for like $100. So this alone is up 40% from there. Plus, not counting the tins, we're closer to doubling our money counting the tins. And again, you just gotta give it time, guys. When you give it time, this stuff just will continue to impress you, in my experience. Blaziken VMAX, right? The trainer gallery equivalent or version of the Blaziken VMAX. That's the chase card of Chilling Reign. Been going up. I expect it to keep going up long term. Hisuian Growlithe in PSA 10. Maybe this is one of the reasons the Perrin's doing well, because it's goes with this card. Growlithe is a 151 Pokemon. Obviously, this is a variant of it. But you can actually see this Growlithe in Perrin's camera. So I think these two cards go really well together, and it might be helping the card in a way that Carmine doesn't have that help of an additional card. So that could be one of the reasons that explain Perrin's success. Temporal Forces, Elite Trainer boxes, Pokemon Center versions, obviously doing well. Almost doubling your money on that if you bought it from the Pokemon Center. These cards, Raikou started going up, especially Suicune, and you guys will see. And I do think the artworks are beautiful. Galarian Rapidash, a variant of a 151 Pokemon. Plus, it's like a unicorn. I really like this card. That's a PSA 10 version of it. 151 binder collection, right? If anything, this I take this as a sign to, if I ever see a good set binder collection, like if I ever see Prismatic Evolutions in Walmart or something like that, I will buy it. I'm not going to buy it for scalped prices, but if I see it at a retail price, I'm not going to pass on it. I'm going to jump on it. Stellar Crown. I think that Hoot Hoot impresses people, bro. Like, not Hoot Hoot, Noctowl. I think Gen 2 may be underestimated for how popular it is, and we'll see that as we keep going. I believe Houndoom was Generation 2, right? That's one of the chase cards of Shattered Fable. But I think a lot of us that were there for Gen 1 were there for Gen 2, so it holds more weight than people probably think. And so here, Stellar Crown with the Noctowl is actually doing a lot better than a lot of the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes, despite the fact that it's new. That's interesting. So more than double there on the return on those boxes. Dragonair, got this on a super good deal, pretty much tripled my money on it. I got it at a bid on eBay. So this Persian the price doesn't seem right here. If I click on it, I view sold listings. Everything before this 177 sale was in the 400s, high 300s. So I would say this would push us over 150,000 Canadian when they correct this. But that's probably the reason in PSA 10 they don't have it right currently, because they're going off the latest sale. That had to be some kind of weird exception. I don't know, or someone didn't know how much it was valued. But I don't think this lost 66% of its value overnight. I think it'll quickly go back to 400 as more sales happen. Still down on Pokemon 151 booster boxes, so I will let you guys know as soon as I'm not down, but I'm still down on them for now, and I've been down on them a long time, so that's why I don't mess with Japanese guys. I will continue not promoting Japanese as an investment. You can have fun with it, totally. Opening it up is fun, but as an investment, I would always recommend English over Japanese. Polyworld artwork, one of my favorites. Pidgeot EX finally going up in PSA 10. Like to see it. For a little sneak peek for those of you who are looking forward to next month's February's pickup video where I tell you guys what I invested in. This was one of them. I bought some more Pidgeot EX at a lower price than it is right now because I thought it was one of the ones that haven't moved. Pidgeot's super popular Pokemon, so I think there is room to grow there. Sylveon V, I absolutely love this artwork. And the trainer looks amazing with the Sylveon as well. So I drew this. Let me see how much the raw is. Even the raw is $65, which has increased significantly. You can see the chart. But I drew this and I loved it so much that I had to get a PSA 10 version of it, which is doing well as well. Miriam, right, shows how trainers can bounce back. Miriam, definitely a cool card. I ended up getting it. You have the Pikachu in there. It was the first waifu chase card of the generation. And glad to see that I wasn't wrong to pick up a copy in PSA 10. Eevee Evolutions box, right? Eevees are hype right now. No surprise this is going up. More than tripled my money on these boxes. Garchomp. I've been saying how much I like this card at the price point. It has gone up. It's a water type Garchomp. Garchomp's a popular Pokemon, but this is a water type Garchomp, right? Garchomp's not usually water type, so it's very interesting. Just like having a dark Charizard from Obsidian Flames or a fighting type Greninja. Very interesting concept. More interesting than the Rainbow Crowns to me. So yeah, I definitely see this Garchomp continuing to do well in the long run. Galarian Zapdos V PSA 10. I like this Roadrunner version of it. It's pretty cool. I never ended up getting the Articuno. I didn't feel strongly enough to pull the trigger, but I really liked the Roadrunner version of a legendary bird here. Paldean Tauros, right? More than doubled when I got it. In PSA 10, I got 2 of them for 100 or less. Here, they're over 200. We'll see when those Paldea evolved cards really take off because they've been kind of stagnant compared to their new stuff. So, yeah, I look forward to seeing them. But one hasn't been stagnant. Well, more than one. Like, obviously, the Magikarp's been doing great, but we'll see another one that's been popping off as well. Noivern Batman, right? Evolving Skies. Again, not a super popular Pokemon, but the artwork means I had to get it. Glaceon from Crown Zenith, right? 211. That's definitely going up. Here's the Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon booster boxes reprints that I bought. That's been kind of stagnant, but I paid 115 for it, so can't complain with that increase. Scarlet Violet base doing solid. Paradox Rift doing even better, right? That Groudon's been doing really well lately. Stellar Crown booster box holding pretty impressive value, honestly, for how new it is and how people don't really see that there's a lot of chase cards there, although that Squirtle and Bulbasaur are great. So glad that they put those in there, because if they didn't, Stellar Crown would be in trouble. Gardevoir, Paldean Fates Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box, right? I do think there's more room for this one to grow. I got it for 77, right? So we're looking at already like tripling the money. But I do think, considering how good Pokemon Center ETBs are, Mimikyu is a great popular Pokemon, good promo. And then how good Paldean Fates is popping off with all its singles, like the Bubble Mew, the Charizard, the Gardevoir. I think this has a lot more room to grow. Surging Sparks Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box, right around the same price as the Paldean Fates one. Not surprising. It is newer, but not surprising because Surging Sparks is has so many good chase cards. Plus, this is a Magneton promo in here done by Shinji Kanda, the same guy that did Gardevoir and the Magikarp. So Magneton's a 151 Pokemon, so I think there's a lot more room for this one to grow as well. Fusion Strike just doing well in general, so the Pokemon Center ETB has been doing great. Probably looking at almost quadrupling the money on this. Suicune, right? Very significant distance from Raikou. I think people really like Suicune. Maybe he was the face of Crystal. Maybe that's why people like it. But at the same time, I feel like, it's a great artwork. This is definitely one I needed to have. Honestly, I didn't get the Entei one. I made some offers. People didn't accept them. It's my least favorite artwork. So I just didn't feel strong enough to pull the trigger. And I probably missed the chance that I'd want to get it at. I don't want to pay like high prices for the Entei. So I don't have a complete 3 legendary dogs from Crown Zenith yet. But to be fair, Entei is my least favorite artwork. Not saying it's my least favorite dog, but it's my least favorite artwork. So Elite Trainer box here. Normal for 151, doing well. Battle Style is doing amazing. So compared to 186, I think you can still get it at the Pokemon Center. So you're looking at immediately almost $50 profit if you sell it at market price from the Pokemon Center. And I think that's that is, I believe, the last Sword and Shield set available on Pokemon Center. So that is probably for a lot of people a screaming buy right now. A lot of people don't like battle styles, but I think it doesn't deserve the hate it gets. Yes, it's not the best set, but it's not the worst set. That Sleeping Tyranitar and being the first alt-art set in Sword and Shield, I think there's way more to like there than Vivid's Voltage, for example. And Vivid Voltage is down here at 243. It's sold out at the Pokemon Center. So I think this is a very good pickup from the Pokemon Center right now, in my opinion. Temporal Forces booster box, 236, right? Not a huge fan of that set, but I do like some cards like the Ghastly and the Arbok. Leafeon V-Star, that's doing even better than the Glaceon, eh? Yeah, impressed by that growth. But again, evolutions, so not difficult to predict that stuff. Obsidian Flames doing great, right? I hope in this channel I've shown you guys that there's a lot to like in Obsidian Flames, especially when you start looking at those PSA 10 prices. It's a small set, but the cards are really good. Really good artwork, really good choice of fan favorite Pokemon. I think Obsidian Flames has a great future. Vaporeon VMAX Premium Collection box, right? That's always the most expensive one. These boxes, I wouldn't even put a limit on how much they can grow just because Evolving Sky is one of the best sets ever. You have Evolving Skies in this, by the way. But also, this is the only way to complete your Evolution V and V Max collection by getting these boxes where the promo cards are. So I think this has a lot more room to run, honestly. Pikachu V Max, right? That's been growing. Love to see it. Trainer galleries showing their potential. Glad I invested in them when I did. Rayquaza V, absolutely gorgeous artwork. And Evolving Skies, Rayquaza. Expect that to go up long term as well. So Twilight Masquerade booster boxes. Yeah, I mean, you got the Greninja, you got everything. Been doing solid. Hasn't been making crazy moves. Been pretty high for a while, I think. Let's see here. All right, no, it's been growing nicely. Yeah, 240 to 262, not crazy moves, but it's definitely in the upward trend. Iono, right? This is my probably favorite trainer card of the generation. I'm trying to think. This will probably change when the new set comes out journey together, if you count those as like trainer Pokemon cards. But I really like this Iono. I like that there's like a Pikachu doll there. There's an Eevee doll. I like her vampire-esque teeth. It's all really cool. Heracross, another Paldea Evolved. Amazing illustration rare, right? That was an Ash Pokemon. I believe long term that this will rise in price. Mimikyu Pokemon Center exclusive, one of my best returns on investment. Uh, Pretty much paid like 50 Canadian for this, so almost 6x returns there. War Turtle. War Turtle's my favorite second evolution of the original three starters. Squirtle, Pikachu, Shiny Pikachu holding some good value. Here's the very satisfying one for me. Pikachu Lost Origin Trainer Gallery. I got 4 of these for less than 100 Canadian, or around 100 Canadian, because I thought, okay, there's Pikachu, Sleeping Pikachu, there's a trainer there, and these are hard to grade in PSA 10, especially compared to higher chase rarities of that generation. So it was a no-brainer for me. I picked it up. Part of you is like, how high can these trainer galleries with yellow borders especially get? But PSA 10, almost 300, almost 3x'd my money on those 4 PSA 10s. And then I got a raw that I just drew, which is actually holding some great value at 19 Canadian as well. Paldea Evolved Booster Box, 286. This is honestly, when I got into investing, there was some Sword and Shield booster boxes. Well, there was Evolving Skies. That was at $550 Canadian. I got 2, ended up going to 2,000. So if you look at it from that perspective, quadrupling my money pretty much on an expensive booster box, you can get Paldea Evolved, which will go down as a top tier Scarlet and Violet booster box for $286. If you don't have any, I obviously have 7, I have exposure to it, but if you don't have any, I think this is a screaming buy right now. Pikachu, right? No confusion about that. This will definitely go up over time. That's a PSA 10 Pikachu. Starmie V, glad that this has finally started to move up. I feel like it was at that 200 Canadian range for a long time. So this has a lot of room to grow in my opinion. Sword and Shield, the Charizard box, got $125. Got 2 of them for that price at Walmart. It's going up. You guys saw those promos, how crazy they're going. This Dragonite V went up. This is a PSA 9 actually. I got it because it was even cheaper than the raw, and I'm like, okay, at the end of the day, you can just open it up and sell it if you want. Mew V, right? The Mews have been crushing it. I actually don't have the VMAX because I don't like it. I don't like the artwork of the VMAX. And so I liked this one. Obviously, the VMAX is popping off, as is this one. So I benefit from this one. I missed out on the VMAX, but who knew everything Mew would just skyrocket like it did? Evolving Skies Elite Trainer boxes, right? Picked up a lot of these for around 100 Canadian. More than tripled my money on all of them. Charizard V, right? Full arts can actually do really well. This one's up over 50%. This Dragonair card has continued to rise, so I got it for 150. Now it's more than doubled, even though it's an old school vintage card, which shows that in this market, even the vintage stuff is doing well. Hidden Fates Elite Trainer box, right? Good price. That moved recently. You can see in the 6 months, definitely been doing well. Good trend. Astral Radiance booster box. One of the slow going ones, right? It's below Rebel Clash, even though the set's way better. Probably there's more of them out there. But I do think Astral Radiance is one of the ones that I expect to see a bump. So you heard it here first, guys. Pokemon TCG Pocket. A lot of people attribute Pokemon's rise right now in that app. They've just released an app update that is going to happen January 29th, which is going to feature these 2 legendaries as part of like deleting the set, which means they're probably going to have illustration rares, alt arts, whatever you want to call them, in the game that's going to build hype around these cards. So I do think that's going to help Astral Radiance. I think it's going to boost the singles in there for these 2 legendaries, illustrate the alt arts, and probably look at the Crown Zenith version of them, the gold cards. They're probably going to get a bounce because of the hype that's going to follow the Pokemon TCG Pocket new set reveal. So set it here first. If those cards pop off and if this booster box goes up, I think that's part of the reason. Rebel Clash booster box, right? Nothing crazy in this set, just short printed. Sylveon V, no no confusion there why that's going up. Pokemon Trading Card Game Classic 350, right? I can get this for 250 at Costco, so I've been picking them up. I really like this product long term because of the nostalgia. I think people were burned when it initially came out, and so they're sleeping on it now. I think it's gonna hit 1,000 Canadian one day. Just saying that. We have Silver Tempest, right? That Lugia as a chase card, and then the Rayquaza, like the second one. I got a PSA 10 of that. That's been booming, and I think much deserved. Like that Rayquaza artwork is amazing. So now this isn't a one-hit wonder. You actually have some depth here with the Blazikens right going up. So I think Silver Tempest is turning out to be a great set that's aging really well. I can see it definitely going up a lot more from here. Pal Evolved Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box. No surprise this is going for such a high price. I love that Pikachu. It's arguably my favorite Pokemon Center promo along with the Charmander and Obsidian Flames. Surging Sparks, still doing amazing, even though it's so new. It's the newest main set, and it's just holding that super high price, probably even going up. Yeah, amazing trend for there. We will be getting reprints. I don't know how much it'll affect it. Celebi V, I've been thinking this is an underrated card for a long time. Nice to see it going up in price in PSA 10. The Raw has definitely been skyrocketing. Fusion Strike hype is strong. Dude, oh my god, we're going to get to that Rayquaza. It just keeps going up. Obsidian Flames Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box. Right, this is the Pokemon Center PSA 10 promo to chase, the Charmander. So yeah, not surprised that this box is doing so freaking well. Rayquaza VMAX. Let's see the recent sales here. Yeah, so they're all in the 300s, but now we're approaching 400, man. I bought this, like, the PSA 10 I probably bought for the price of the Raw right now. And yeah, the fact it's approaching 400 when, again, people didn't believe in those trainer galleries is crazy. Ninetales, another card that's impressing me. We're almost at 400 Canadian with the Ninetales. We do have confirmed sales over 400 Canadian. I'm glad to see people are finally appreciating that artwork. And Ninetales is one of my favorite Pokemon, if you guys didn't know. So that's another reason that I had to invest in a PSA 10 version of it way back. So Ultra Premium Collection now almost 400 Canadian. Amazing. It was like apparently overpriced when I was getting it for 200 Canadian, but now it's pretty much doubled from there, and I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. Glaceon V, not my favorite artwork from the Evolutions and Evolving Skies, but even that's doing well. Again, I think the Leafeon, to me, I'd rather have the Leafeon if I could only choose one, but a lot of people like Glaceon, I guess. Brilliant Stars. I told you guys a while back that when Surging Sparks was actually more expensive than Brilliant Stars, I said, hey, I would definitely, if I'm new, guys, you don't know anything about the market, definitely go with Brilliant Stars right now because it's not going to get a reprint at this point, while Surging Sparks will. And not surprised that now the gap has grown to about 65 Canadian difference. And Brilliant Stars is still much safer because it's not going to get a reprint. Plus, guys, damn, with the trainer galleries becoming actual chase cards, like, think about that. Think about the Umbreon VMAX, the Umbreon V, the Sylveon VMAX, the Sylveon V, those smaller yellow border trainer cards like the Vaporeon, the Flareon, the Jolteon, the Eevee. Like, oh my god, bro. There's a lot to like in Brilliant Stars. It has everything you'd need for a good set. So I definitely see good things for that one. So we have Mewtwo V-Star here. That's been holding around the same values since the last time I made this kind of video, I believe. when the portfolio was around 130,000, but I invested $150 into it, so tripled my money on that. Caesar, that's the freaking one, bro. I told you guys in the recommendations that I was picking that up. I did pick that up, and I picked it up for about half. So I had one that I got for closer to 100, so I quadrupled my money on that one. But the one I picked up recently was for 200, like 200 something bucks. Now it's 400, doubled my money on even that one in such a short period of time. Caesar's such a cool Pokemon, man. Galarian Moltres, right? I was telling you guys, great second chase card in Chilling Reign. Blastoise, a lot more room for, I think, the big three, Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charizard to grow in 151. Japanese Pikachu Master Ball, we won't talk about that. Raichu, right? I love it. I love that it's 151, that it's a popular Pokemon, that it's sleeping. That gives it an interesting twist, too. It's Paldea Evolved. It's the most expensive raw illustration rare after the Magikarp and Paldea Evolved. Paldea Evolved hard to grade, right? I definitely see good things in the future for the Raichu. Disney Lorcana, first chapter, is actually doing great. 500. Sword and Shield booster box, 500. Chilling Reign booster box hitting the 500 mark. Since I got the most of these, I'm glad. I got 12 of them, so I'm glad to see that that's been doing amazing. So much depth in Chilling Reign. And with that Blaziken finally getting more respect, the Blaziken VMAX recently, we'll see that in the price. It spells good things for Chilling Reign long term. 151 Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box, right? 500 Canadian. What? Dude. That's crazy. Wow. But Champ V, right? You got that chase card in Astral Radiance. I'd watch out for Astral Radiance. I do think it has room to grow. It's not the best set by far in Sword and Shield, but it is a solid set. Venusaur, for some reason, more expensive than the Blastoise right now, probably just around recent sales. Celebrations Ultra Premium Collection, right? This is next year. I'd look for the big moves on this one. Aerodactyl V, finally up on it. So I paid around 515 Canadian, I believe, for it. So for a long time, that was during the hype, the Altart boom last year. And then finally in PSA 10, it's risen back to that point. So let's see here. Okay, so looks like the Raw hasn't reached old heights, but I think it will. I do believe that the Aerodactyl V is a great second chase card for Lost Origin, and it's a 151 Pokemon. I do think it's more popular than people are giving credit for, and I think this is an amazing artwork. I think people are sleeping on this one. Romance Dawn booster box. That's actually done really well. The first ever One Piece booster box. Lost Origin doing amazing, 564, right? That's gonna help this Aerodactyl. I can see this Aerodactyl making a run at some point for sure. Tyranitar from Paldea Evolved, right? So many good hits in Paldea Evolved. Like I said, if you haven't bought Paldea Evolved, do yourself a favor and get a booster box. Charizard EX from Obsidian Flames, right? Approaching 600 Canadian. Espeon V in PSA 10. This has surprised me how more expensive it is than the other Evolution Vs in Evolving Skies. But it doesn't, I get it, but it surprised me that other people would agree. But I love it. I love the Espeon. I love the books, right? I'm a big reader, and so I love the whole library vibe of it. And for me, I knew I liked it. I knew I had to have it. It was one of the first ones I got. But I'm glad that, or I'm surprised, pleasantly surprised that the market is reflecting my love for the card as well. So this one, the base set booster pack, would not get that again, guys. It was just nostalgia, pretty much purchase. Haven't gone up that much for that compared to the other stuff. Groudon, right? One of the biggest rising cards of late. Tyranitar V. Sleeping one, right? Great chase card for Battle Styles. As soon as Battle Styles sells out on the Pokemon Center, which will be, I don't think that long. I think we're going to see a nice run for Battle Styles and for this Tyranitar. Charizard V, right? There's a lot of PSA 10s of this, but it's so good. I'd see a lot of room to grow for this Charizard V. Meryl has been a success story, right? Even at 300, when I bought it, I thought, am I paying too much? It's more than doubled since then. So really good things from Meryl. Now in Raw, it's also built its way up to the ranks as one of the top chase cards of Pal the Evolved. That's the potential of Pal the Evolved. You have some cards there that people might not even be thinking about now, and they could suddenly rise up and gain traction. And that's what the Meryl proved for sure. And again, Gen 2. I think Gen 2 is more popular than some people would expect. Fusion Strike, 700 Canadian, right? Now, these Fusion Strikes that I got from the Pokemon Center at 186 Canadian each are more expensive than I paid for my Evolving Skies booster boxes. That's crazy to think about for me and my journey as an investor. Shiny Charizard, looks like Shiny Charizard is just always going to be more expensive than the Obsidian Flames one, unless we get like a massive reprint in Paladin Fates or something. Glaceon VMAX, I love this card. Got it for 350, so now we are officially well over double on that. It took a little while to break that doubling mark. I remember saying, oh, we're almost doubling on it. We're almost doubling on it in previous videos, but it's finally taken off. Leafeon VMAX, right up there too. Umbreon V, this one has skyrocketed. I think it beat the, yeah. So there was that whole Pokerev bubble as well when he shouted it out, and now it's surpassed even that, probably because Prismatic Evolutions, Umbreon is the max chase card, so it's helping out the other Umbreons. But yeah, we're beyond Pokerev hyping it up. Prices, crazy to think about. So Blaziken, like I said, this one's been doing really well. It would lag behind the other Altarts in this resurgence we've had. And looks like in Raw, I don't get why the Raw prices are not doing as well as the PSA 10 prices. Not sure about that, but in PSA 10 it's almost hit $1,000, so I would expect that Raw to go up in price. I don't know why it's lagging behind. Espeon VMAX, right? Fusion Strike's been killing it. Sylveon VMAX, not my favorite Evolution VMAX. I'll be upfront with you guys. I got it because I wanted to get all of them, but I'm surprised that this one's number one, honestly. Well, not number one, but number two after the Umbreon VMAX. Lugia V, this card, great Silver Tempest chase card. No surprise, it's over 1,000 Canadian. Unbroken Bonds booster box, right? Nothing crazy there, but holding good value. Greninja still holding well above 1,000 Canadian dollars mark. Love to see it. Unified Minds, Charizard EX. This has been a recent crazy story, crazy rise. It's over 1,000 American now, 1,500 Canadian. Wow, crazy how much it's risen, especially with all the blooming waters coming onto market and people know it and they're still going crazy over it. Imagine when there's no more supply. Like, this Charizard has great things in its future. Mew, Bubble Mew, right? One of the top cards of Scarlet and Violet. Part of the reason that there's so much Mew hype right now. Great card. Maybe your last opportunity to get a special illustration shiny Mew, right? We don't know if we'll ever have special illustrations again. They might do something else next era. So even if we have more Mew arts and we have other Mew arts in this generation, the shiny Mew, this might be your only chance. And for some people, they'll want to go back and get it when they find out about it in the future. And I think it's going to keep going up in value for that reason. Again, reprints can slow it down, but we'll see. There's so much to print at this point. Cosmic Eclipse still nice and steady going up. Rayquaza VMAX. The thing I love about this is I got a Raw and a PSA 10. And when I got the PSA 10, it was literally cheaper than the Raw is now. I knew this was an amazing card, amazing artwork. So I'm glad to see that pay off. Pikachu, Pokemon Center, right? I got 5 of these, still going up in price. I told you guys this was in my single greatest investment in Pokemon right now video. It's returned so much for me. The cheapest one I got was 150 USD. So this has grown so much. It was my one of my, I think it's my top growing card in that recent video where I said what cards made me the most money so far. Evolving Skies booster box, officially over 2,000 Canadian. Charmander Pokemon Center exclusive, over 2,000 Canadian. Gengar, almost 2,100 Canadian. And currently, when I made the list for most expensive Scarlet and Violet PSA 10s, Charmander was actually below, or Charmander was actually above Magikarp. But currently, the Magikarp is now above as the king of the Scarlet and Violet era PSA 10s. However, obviously, I know that's probably not going to last when the new Umbreon comes out in PSA 10. So we'll see. But Magikarp will definitely go down as one of the top chase cards in Scarlet and Violet era. Giratina V, right? Both Shinji Kanda. I don't know why they love staying close to each other so we could enjoy the artwork of Shinji Kanda. So they're always close in value. Then we have Team Up Booster Box. And of course, Moonbreon, which I've quadrupled my money on, even though I bought it so expensive. The rich get richer, guys. Team Up 2, like 2,800 I paid for it. Who would pay 2,800 for a Pokemon booster box? I did. And literally it's up over 1,600 since then, even though I paid a lot. So this is a sign, guys. Even if you have to pay a lot sometimes to get the best of the best, it's not necessarily a bad thing, and it still has a lot of room to grow. I think we're underestimating this Pokemon market and its potential long term. I think there's going to be more people like me who start using it as a way to diversify their investments, especially when they start seeing the returns. And guess what? That's all going to feed into each other. More investors come in, the more the price is going to grow. And whether or not you like it, it's going to help everybody who's been in the market. So that's something to keep in mind, guys. I think I see great things for this Pokemon market. Short term, mid term, we could have downtrends. I expect it, honestly. This has been insane bull market. I think it would be healthy to cool down a bit. But long term, I believe in this big time. I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of my biggest percentage gains investment over 5-year period, 10-year period. Yes, there's pros and cons, like it's harder to sell than stocks, for example. But for all the investors, I heavily recommend diversifying your portfolio like me and starting to reap some of these insane gains. Because remember, we're long-term investors. There will be dips. I don't promise none of this stuff will go down ever. Obviously, stuff goes down. But long-term, my portfolio shows that you can make some insane gains with Pokemon. And imagine 5, 10, 20 years from now what it's going to look like. But that is it for this one, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Subscribe if you haven't, like if you enjoyed the video for more Pokemon investing. See ya.